Welcome to Breakfast with Spaniels with Dr. Judy.
Surrounded by kitties. Kitties screaming, kitties sleeping, kitties eating. Snowing again in Vermont. You can have it. It's supposed to be 50 here today. It's sunny. It's gorgeous. It'll be one of those beautiful blue sky at the barn days. My favorite.
Remember, you can purchase all of Dr. Morgan's products at her website at www.drjudymorgan.com. Now it's time to sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Am I in quarantine with kitties? No, I just set up my studio with the cats. Well, I don't have all my lights on. We're bright enough. Okay. Lovely blue skies and sun sparkling on the snow. See, that's pretty. Raining again in the UK. Ugh, yeah. Okay, well, there's our morning weather report from around the world. So I was reminded this morning when I walked in, we have 4 water bowls in the kitchen for our dogs. And I worked very hard to keep the water bowls clean. And part of our problem is that we've got the Schnauzer, who I keep her beard trimmed really short now because with the raw food that we feed, and she gets hers gently cooked, but still, stuff just sticks in there. And then we've got, dogs that don't have a lot of teeth and have a hard time, getting their mouth clean after they eat. So when they go drink, they're spitting all of that or dropping off their mouth and their beard, all that raw food and all that slime from their saliva into the bowl. So I start every morning by scrubbing the bowls and refilling them with clean water. And I really have to do that about 5 times a day because with Stewie on torsemide, he drinks a lot. Shayna's on Lasix, so she drinks a lot. Shotzi drinks fairly often, but not a lot of each time. But every time they drink out of the bowl, I walk over there and it just has particles floating around in it from their mouth and their food. And it gets really disgusting. So before I went to bed last night, I noticed that a couple of the water bowls had some stuff floating around in them. And I said, I gotta change those before I go to bed. Well, it doesn't really matter because the dogs don't drink overnight anyway, because they all sleep in beds with people. So they're not drinking overnight. But when I came out this morning, because I hadn't scrubbed those water bowls, one of them that had a bunch of particulate stuff in it, the water was actually this grayish, brownish, nasty, slimy. And that's how much the bacteria from their mouth had colonized and replicated in that bowl overnight. And it smells bad, nasty bacteria in there. So it just reminded me this morning that biofilm is everywhere. It's everywhere. I see it in the water bowls with that. So if you look at your dog's water bowl and you don't change it every single day, or your cat's water bowl and you don't change it every single day, what you'll notice is you'll see kind of a coating. If you dump the water out and you touch that coating, it's slimy. And that's bacteria colonizing that surface. But those bacteria are everywhere. So you've probably seen there have been really good studies that have been on news shows and documentaries where they go into the public restrooms or even in your own house and they'll take culture swabs off of doorknobs and door jambs and toilet handles and faucet handles and culture them, and it grows nasty, nasty bacteria. Now, we need to have our bodies exposed to some bacteria. This is one of the things that we've seen with children in particular. Children who grow up in exceptionally clean environments, those moms who are, Cloroxing and cleaning to death, a lot of those children actually have worse allergy problems later on because they're not exposed to normal bacterial load. Never had that problem with my children because they grew up in a barn. They grew up with, manure and hay and stuff everywhere. And while I am a bit of a neat freak, I am not a Clorox freak, and I don't go around Cloroxing everything. But it'll be interesting to see how things change with our environment and people's allergens and things. Because of COVID, people have been encouraged to clean all those surfaces a lot more often, which is pretty interesting. That's why we run out of Lysol wipes and Clorox wipes and all those kinds of things, because people really stocked up on them and hoarded and started paying attention and cleaning things that they hadn't cleaned before. But those bacteria, and this is one of the biggest holders of bacteria. I've actually taken the cover off my phone, and you can see my phone is stained from holding it, and I'm going to buy a new cover because I can't get that off. But I've taken that cover off and soaked it in Clorox for 24 hours, trying to kill some of the crap that's on there, but I think I kind of give up. Because literally every time you touch it, you're putting more bacteria on it. So the point of the matter is that if you're not getting rid of that biofilm, particularly on the food and water bowls, if your dogs have any dental disease, bacteria in their mouth, which they have a normal, good flora in there, but if they've got infections and dental disease, they've got a lot of bad flora in there. So mom's dog, the Schnauzer, she's the one that has this really weird overgrowth of her gums and overgrowth of bone along her jaw, which has trapped her teeth. And they've started to abscess. And so for the past year and a half, we've been playing with her mouth, and she actually had to have blood transfusions because she bled so much from the abscesses deep in the bone. When we took her to the dental specialist, he worked on her all day, and he was only able to work on one quadrant of her mouth. And she really, ideally, we would go back and have the other quadrants done, but at 17 and a half, I'm not sure how much more she can take of that kind of work. So I know that the bacteria in her mouth, she's got very resistant bacteria growing in there that we can't even treat with antibiotics, and I don't really want to. But I know the stuff coming out of her mouth is nasty stuff. And secondary to that, we ended up with a nasty urinary tract infection with Shayna. Because one goes and drinks out of the bowl, drops that bacteria in there. The second one goes and drinks out of that bowl, and then those bacteria set up and colonize in the body. I'll do a blog on this to kind of spell it out a little bit more. But that biofilm is everywhere, and really be aware of it. And if you're having problems with your animals with chronic urinary tract infections, and we don't have an anatomical reason for that. We don't have bladder stones, we don't have polyps, we don't have tumors, we don't have invaginated vulvas or anything like that that's contributing to it, then maybe we need to look at their bowls or their water bowls or food bowls. Are they the type that are licking the floor all the time? Do we have nasty bacteria in the environment that are contributing to it? Interesting side note, when we used to be able to get our animals into nursing homes to visit, most nursing homes will not allow raw-fed animals to come into the nursing homes to visit. And it seems like a weird rule. Their concern is if the dog licks the person, they're going to transmit nasty bacteria from their raw food to the hands or skin of the elderly residents whose immune systems aren't so good. The interesting thing is there's actually been studies where it goes the other way, where the nasty bacteria are transmitted from senior citizens who might have some resistant bacteria on them, giving it to the dogs. So it's kind of interesting. They're willing to look at it from one direction and not the other. So, okay, everybody, I'm familiar with teeth. It's made by a microbiologist. It's a water additive. The problem we had with it is we couldn't leave it in the water long enough because I have to change the water bowls so often. Every time a dog drinks in our house, the water bowls are nasty. So, that's kind of the problem with the dog rocks too. And somebody said, well, put the dog rocks in a pitcher in the refrigerator and then refill from that. And then it would be able to stay in there long enough for the product to actually work. So that's an issue for us. Using our dental drops can be very helpful for this because it is an antibacterial and will naturally take care of some of those bad bacteria that are in the mouth while allowing the good bacteria to repopulate and take over. So just something to think about. Keep your water bowls and food bowls clean. I saw a study once where they actually did cultures on food bowls for pets, those that were hand washed, those that were not washed, and those that were run through the dishwasher. And unless they're going through a sanitized cycle in the dishwasher, they're still going to come out of there and grow some bacteria. Pretty interesting. Bacteria are in our environment. They're not all bad. Like I said, we need some exposure to build our immune system, to let our body see it, recognize it, and say, oh yeah, I don't like that one. I'm going to react appropriately to that. So, okay, everybody have a wonderful day. Time to go to the barn, got consultations, I don't know, just always stuff. Always stuff. Okay.
Welcome to
Oops, well, we got the welcome again. It is what it is.
Judy Morgan.
You see Myra? Oh, Myra has made it into our room. There she is. Working in a mirror. Maybe I'll bring Pookie in too. I couldn't fit two of them behind my head. Can you use Honest Kitchen in rotation for Cavalier with no spleen? Sure. Kristen, the PEA, you can use whatever dose you want. It's not going to cause a problem. We're using high doses on Shayna, and let me tell you, it's made a world of difference. We actually, a foam disinfectant box goes in every day. That's a good idea. We actually have a lot of people in Europe who use our dental drops on themselves. Can't promote that, but a lot of people do. You need germs. Yeah. Yes, you need good microbiome. So.
Remember, you can purchase all of Dr.
All right, everybody have a wonderful day.
www.
Gotta go take care of ponies and chickens.